great audience today. Thank you everybody for attending. Yeah, so that was a great introduction, Brett. I appreciate that. And what we have planned for you guys today and gals today is some best practices on sales and bid management. And as Brett said, what we're going to do, we're going to give you a little bit of background on us so that we can, let you know, kind of where we're coming from, how we do business and interact with customers, how we collect some of this information, the type of customers we have, and a little bit of background on us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the why. And sometimes I call it the who cares, right? Who cares about this stuff? Well, when you look at it and you see some of the numbers and also the possibilities on what you can accomplish for your business, when we do just a little basic mathematics and show you some basic best practices, you'll understand the why is pretty compelling when it comes to these things. And then we're going to walk through a little bit of the how, and it's going to be a presentation, but I have some screenshots in there to demonstrate and give you a visual of the how to accomplish these things. And then I'm going to walk you through a quick end-to-end demo, and it'll be fast. So if you need me to slow down, or if you have a question, please pop it a question or a comment in the chat box to slow me down a little bit, because again, I'm going to go pretty fast. We are recording this, and that way you can watch it again if I go too fast for you. And then we'll wrap up with a question and answer session, and then of course we'll give you some information on how you can contact us to learn more about this.
And okay, David, I just wanted to mention that the recording will be sent out at some point after the webinar. I think it goes out later today.
And we'll be posting it on our website as well. So, and you'll get it again. It's good stuff. So hopefully you benefit from this. Again, we have a really good, healthy audience today. I know we have a mix of some CDP customers, some top builder customers, and some new folks on here. So we got a good audience. Okay, so that's our agenda. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with a quick poll question. To get a little background on what you guys are doing today in this in the sales and bid management area.
I'm going to launch the poll, and now you should see the poll on your screen, so you can select one of these. How do you currently manage your sales opportunities and bids? Probably a lot of people, I'm guessing, are going to be using Excel, but there's also CRM systems out there and bid tracking software. So just go ahead and make your selection. And we got people voting. We're getting up there. And as I guessed, we have right now 71% have selected Excel. We have 14% at bid tracking software, and 14% have nothing in place. There, everybody's voted, and it's 75% Excel, 13 bid tracking, 13 nothing in place.
Wow. Thanks, Brett. That's good information. I think this is going to help you folks. Excel's still going to be a dominant tool, I think, in our industry, and probably will be forever. But we also help you understand how to use Excel in when it comes to bid and sales process management as well. So hopefully you'll benefit from this. You folks that aren't doing anything today would see a huge increase in your conversion rates potentially. And then even folks that are on bid management tools and even in Excel, I think you'll benefit from this. So this is good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to cover this real quickly. Again, a little background on us, just so you know where we're coming from. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. And the bottom line with all this is we focus on CRM for construction. And what that means is we're always going to be focusing on construction and construction related functionality. Okay, but we've got hundreds of builders across the US and Canada, and we interact with our builders daily in training and setup and support and even during demos, and we talk to them and we listen to them and we learn from them, and we get experiences from them. And that's where we want to share some of that with you today in the form of best practices. One of the things I'll tell you right away is CRM is not very widely used in commercial construction. So there's not a lot of background and data to support what we typically do in other industries, you know, if you're selling different items. But we do talk to our customers, and we have a database of thousands and thousands and thousands of transactions and bids and sales transactions and sales history that we mine. And we're going to use some of those as examples today in the demo, so you understand, you know, using real numbers, how some of our customers have improved from implementing these best practices. Okay, so I'll move on to the why. And again, that's the who cares, right? So if you can imagine taking your existing opportunities and without spending any more money on advertising or any more effort to generate more opportunities, just with your existing pipeline and your existing bid opportunities, if you could squeeze more out of them while you're saving time and effort, that would be a big improvement in your business. And again, you're not spending any money. I would argue you're saving money by implementing some of these best practices. So in other words, the best practices go straight to your bottom line and increased revenue. And then the profitability is going to depend on the type of job that you're doing and other things. But the important thing, the most important thing, is to try to squeeze more out of your existing opportunities, your sales opportunities, and your bid opportunities, or your RFQs. Now, the second portion of this is to try to add more high quality leads or opportunities in that pipeline to feed them in, again, without spending any more money. And so when I say quality, low risk, high margin items, I'm talking about the specialty contractors that are doing service work or warranty work or maintenance work or inspection work, that are typically lower risk. It's easier to bid on those. There's not so many moving parts and so many unknowns, and then the margins are a little higher based on, you know, what we understand. And so you're getting better profit and more good opportunities by implementing some of these processes. You're certainly going to save some time and money, and we'll show you how to do that. And one very important thing that some people don't realize until it's too late is that you need to protect your assets, and your assets being your customer data, your bid data, your sales data, your financial data, things like that. And we have customers that have lost that information, where an estimator or a salesperson or a project manager walked out the door and took it all with them, or they had a system crash or something, you know, and they lost data that way. That's catastrophic in some cases. So you don't want that to happen. And then there's some intangibles that come along with it, you know, being organized and appear professional, even internally within your company, while you're trying to recruit newer, potentially younger folks that want software or want to do things using technology. You'll get that benefit as well. So I'm going to move on to some numbers. And what we did is we went into our database and we pulled out a whole bunch of customers that we've had in there for a long time. And we kind of found the middle ground. And the middle ground was a specialty contractor in about 400 that are not 450 million revenue, but they're bidding $450 million a year, which turns out to be about $150,000 per job. And that may resonate with a lot of you folks. Maybe that's kind of in your ballpark per job. And then if you just simply add a 1% increase in your conversion rates to that, well, you're bringing in, you know, $4.5 million a year more, just at 1%. Okay, now the margins are going to depend on the type of work and the type of business that you do, but you can see right away that you're getting a lot for not getting any more leads with just the leads that you have. Now, 1% is a very small number, and we've done some research, and there's some studies that indicate 16%, especially in residential construction. that we're unsure about that. So you kind of have to pick your own number that you think will work here. But certainly you can expect at least a 1% increase, right? And then you can do the math and see where this works out for you. Now, in addition to converting existing jobs, we're going to get you more jobs. And certainly, and I tend to focus on roofers, commercial roofers in this category, but getting more quality leads from your existing customers, okay, by following up on jobs when they're done, warranties when they're expiring, things like that, you're going to get a 10% increase in opportunities at least. And that translates in this scenario to another $450,000 a year. So that's with the 1% conversion rate. So anyways, you've got really, really good numbers, and you can plug in your own numbers and decide for yourself if this is this, you know, how much money you'll achieve by doing this. But these are real world test cases that we put together. Now, cost savings, that's a tough one to measure. But one of our favorite ones that we're going to focus on an example today is creating these reports, like a revenue forecast report or a revenue projection. We have so many specialty contractors that present forecasts, revenue forecasts, and they're pulling data out of multiple systems to put it on a forecast. And every quarter they do this, and it takes 4 to 6 weeks to prepare these. Now, it's not 4 to 6 weeks continuously. You know, they're spending time collecting data, crunching the numbers, putting them in spreadsheets, kicking out these reports. But if I just focus on that one activity, we're saving a bunch of time in a month, just that one activity. And so you can see what we're doing here and make your own judgments on time savings. You know your business, but it's definitely there. And we use this software in our own business, and we see this as well. All right, so let me go into more of the how. How are we going to accomplish this? Well, first of all, when we start a sales process, one of the things that is a must-have when it comes to best practices is capturing your leads or your opportunities electronically. Okay, so there's lots of ways of doing that. You can do it from your website, and I'm going to show you some examples of that, to have forms on your website to capture a request for quote, request for information, just a request for service. We do that for our customers. And then the leads or the opportunities electronically get captured, and everybody gets alerts and reminders and bells and whistles, you know, just say, hey, we've got an opportunity, and it doesn't fall through the cracks, and it's there. So that comes in from their website. A lot of our customers have mobile entry forms, and these can be on a tablet or a phone or even on a laptop, where you're on site and you can find opportunities for service work, maintenance work, whatever. You see something that needs a little love, and you can put it in the system and say, we need to go out and work on this, and give them a quote. Or even new construction related items, when you're out there collecting data for a job, and you can take photos and put them right into the opportunity, and it goes straight into the system, and you have it. Now, excuse me for the coughing, got allergies going on here, but sometimes there's a customer portal that's available where your customers can log in and submit requests for quotes, and also look at quotes, look up quotes, and look at active jobs and financial information. So your customers can go in and submit quotes, requests for quotes directly to you, and then look up any that you have outstanding with them. You know, we submitted a quote to you last month, and we're still waiting on an answer. Well, the customer will be able to see that as well in the portal. Now, there's other sources that generate leads for you. They're all over the place, so I'm not going to name any specific ones, but also electronically capture those and then route those to your salespeople, your project managers, and your estimators as they come in. So I've got a couple examples of this. This is a real, on the website, if you can see this. Capturing a form on the website. They can even upload documents and specifications right off the website. This is an example of a mobile version of the software that they can log into and submit a quote upload drawings, upload specifications, and you can add multiple. And then of course we have the customer portal as well. Okay, so in addition to all of this, as I've already mentioned, when these opportunities come in, they need to be routed and assigned, and everybody needs to know we have an opportunity that needs to be worked. Now, it may be a bad opportunity or one you pass on, but that's okay. Somebody needs to handle it and close it out and say, we're passing on this, or we're not going to quote this for some reason. But there's multiple ways that you can get these alerts, and sometimes it just depends on your preferences and how you do business, or how you kind of your work lifestyle. But getting an email alert, getting a text message alert, having a calendar appointment, having it show up on dashboards, status reports, or other reports with all the information you need is critical. And my point here is nothing falls through the cracks. You don't miss any deadlines, okay? And everybody gets to work immediately on these items. Now, if something comes in and you have an opportunity to go to an office manager, so to speak, and they can reassign it to project managers or estimators, and then they'll get alerts as well. So it doesn't have to be originally when it comes in, but after it gets assigned out, you need those alerts to go out so everybody is aware of the opportunity and are working on it immediately, or at least they have it on their calendar to say it's coming up with a bid due date and all the information they need. Okay, so again, I have some screenshots of this. This is a picture of an alert. We have a bid calendar, a dashboard that says I have X number of new leads. I know you can't see this, but you'll see it in the demo. And then we have a calendar where it has we have a new RFQ coming in, or we have a bid due, something like that, all available for you to make sure everything is getting the attention it needs and nothing falls through the cracks. Okay, so once it's in the system and everybody has been alerted, we need to track that. Tracking it is critical. Everybody is busy. Everybody is, I talked to a builder yesterday and they're doing 70 bids a day. And I found that just fascinating. So every day, I'm sorry, it should be, I think it's every week, they're doing 70 bids a week. And keeping up with that is, I would think, unruly if they didn't have something to track it and monitor and alert them. Now, they happen to be a top builder or a Spectrum CRM user, so they have that. But prior to that, I don't know how they did it. So what happens here is you have dashboards, a bid calendar, a status report, and alerts and reminders to say, hey, we've got something coming up. It may have come in a month ago, but it's due this week. We have the status reports that show what's coming up this week or this month. If something doesn't get done, an alert goes off where you get an email or a text message. You also have reminders to give you a little heads up on that, maybe 24 hours or whatever. And I know this because we talk to a lot of our customers, and these deadlines can be strict. Your bid is due Friday at noon. If you're late, you're out. You're not on the short list. And you don't want to miss that deadline, especially if it's a high margin deal or a big job. So this helps you prevent that. Most of these folks are professionals, and I get that. The estimators, they're pros. They've been doing this a long time. But we all get really busy, and sometimes things do fall through the cracks, and we're here to help you prevent that. Okay, so we have a bid status report there. More on the bid status report. Again, more alerts. Whoops, I keep doing that. The dashboards, the calendars. Again, we do all that when the new opportunity comes in so that it can be assigned out properly and alerts you. But we also do these same things, after the fact, after it's been there for a while, so that when it's imminent, when the bid due date's coming up and you need to get working on it. Okay, so now another best practice is to try to use some sort of standardized proposal generation tool. And you know, you can use Word and convert your Word documents to PDF, and that works great. One of the things that we've observed is when you put multiple documents together to create a proposal, finding the right documents, the most current templates and letters can be a challenge. But when you have several, you know, you have a cover page, cover letter, proposal, the different documents, you know, assembling all that takes time for every single proposal that you produce. And then you also have to fill in the blanks. So if you use a standard proposal generator with standardized templates, you can copy, you know, proposals you've done similar to that or for that customer, generate a new proposal from that, and it's already pre-filled in with, you know, the customer name and you know, it's a fill in the blank situation, and then all the documents move with it. So you don't have to rebuild your proposals from scratch every single time, which leads to obviously extra effort, but also the potential for mistakes, you know. And if you have a proposal generating tool, you can go back. If you have to revise the proposal, copy it, make a few changes, spit it out again. And that's a few clicks of a mouse versus having to reassemble a whole bunch of documents, store them somewhere, organize them somewhere, go find the documents. This prevents all of that and helps you meet your deadlines and look good at the same time. Okay. And so we have a little diagram of how a proposal generator would fill in the blanks on a proposal, also emailing that out and tracking it to make sure, you get an alert when they've received the proposal. We've heard from customers that they never got the proposal. You know, it's a huge file that you may email them. It may never got through their firewall. In this case, you'll know. You'll get an email alert or a text message alert when they opened it. And then it'll also track it to make sure you're following up on the next steps once that proposal has been sent. Okay, so best practices again, learning what works and what doesn't work. There's a couple things, there's a lot of things, but a couple things immediately on this one is some performance reports. Run performance reports on estimators, project managers, by customer, by job type. See what's working and see what's not working. Figure out, you know, for a particular, and I don't want to pick on an estimator, but maybe an estimator is overbidding jobs or a certain type of work you're not getting a lot of traction with. Maybe you're just not doing a good job bidding on those, or a particular customer, you know, one customer may be awarding a lot of jobs to you and others may not, and you may want to go find out why. Are your bids too high? Did you have a bad experience? And if you know, that could be one phone call, but you may never know this unless you have it on a performance report. Pick up the phone, call them, find out, yeah, you're too high, and you know, you work on that. And again, you're not trying to get more leads from this. You're really trying to make the most of the opportunities that you have, and that's a really simple way of doing it. I have another report that I'll show you as well that'll help with that too. But a one-loss report, if you can see this, you know, why are we winning and why are we losing jobs? It's clear and simple. We're too high quality, missed a deadline potentially. I don't know, but you can go through and run the report and figure it out real quick and then take action. Okay? So now the next thing is generating new opportunities from existing customers and existing work. And what we're talking about here is following up basically at the end of the cycle. If you lose a bid, go ahead and find out why and ask for the next opportunity. Or if you get a bid and you move into the construction phase, feed that back into the pipeline to say, hey, is there, depending on the type of business you do, but is there service work attached to the end of this when the warranty expires? For roofing as an example, the warranty expires, the installer warranty expires in 2 years. you go back and you find the opportunity to sign them up for a service contract in 2 years after the warranty is over, or the construction is complete. Go back and say, hey, what's the next phase? What's the next project? Is there a service contract there? You know, keep that pipeline full as you move them through the sales cycle and the construction cycle. And some of this can be automated. You know, sending them a thank you email, maybe with a link to a survey in it, or reply to that and say, hey, let us know when you have the next project. But keeping in touch with them, especially when it comes to the service and the warranty work after the job is done, is a good way to get extra work without spending any more money, frankly. Now, there's also email campaigns where you can target completed jobs. You could target existing customers. A lot of you folks, as a specialty contractor, you will do work for the general contractor. But there's a building owner attached to that job, and then there's a property manager or a facility manager potentially attached to that job. You'll track that in the system for the job. And then after the fact, you want to contact potentially the owner or the property manager for the follow-up service work or warranty work or the next project. We hear this every single day, and it works, and they get more good opportunities out of this that convert to sales. Okay. And then another way to get more opportunities, again, is to find hidden gems or hidden opportunities within your current customers and your current jobs. I've given you 2 examples here, and I'll show this to you in the demo, okay, on how you can find an opportunity. And this, we've done this for existing customers, and it's amazing what we find out. Okay, so a customer in the first case here is giving you all a bunch of new construction jobs, just as hypothetically, but no service work. Okay, this happened with one of our fire alarm fire system companies, and they were getting a lot of new construction. It's not Home Depot. This one's hypothetical, but they were getting a lot of new construction for some of their customers, but no service work. And it shows up on these reports in the yellow there, and they can say, they call the customer, and the customer says, well, I didn't know you did this stuff, or you never reached out to me and said, hey, try to get the job. So this shows you real quickly where the gaps are, so to speak. And then there's another one down here with Costco, where Costco was giving you 5 jobs in January, but nothing in February, March, or April. Well, why not? Maybe that triggers a phone call to say, what happened? And Costco could be slowing down a bit. That's real. But maybe you screwed up a job, or maybe something may have happened there that you need to go investigate. Okay. Down here on the bottom, we have this by location, and we've seen this as well for a customer where they have a bunch of locations, and they're giving you a bunch of work from some of the locations for the service area in this example, but one location's not giving you any work. New York is not giving you any service work in this example. Go call them, find out why. Say, hey, look, we're getting work out of New Jersey and Vermont, and call them. They'll vouch for us. They'll say we're doing good work, and then there you go. You may have plugged that gap in your revenues. Okay, so these are just some examples. There's a lot, but we can certainly cover those at a later date if you want to reach out to us after the webinar. Now, staying organized and coordinated is going to reduce time, money, and headaches. And again, this is very hard to quantify, but we use the software, and we talk to our customers every day, and we have a daily training. They're in there, we talk to them, we ask them questions. When we set them up, we ask them how the software is going. We do an account review with them. We ask them how they're getting the benefits during the account review, and we get a lot of good feedback. Now, one of the best practices that's not real obvious, but I bolded it in here, is to integrate your CRM, no matter what CRM you're using, and what accounting or ERP system you're using. We hope you're using Spectrum, but the having the integration in place so that your job information, your customer information, your contacts are all synchronized will allow you to produce some really, really good reports. And for instance, labor requirements or revenue projections, which you can see below here, this is the report that our customers spend 4 to 6 weeks on every quarter to build. And having what's in your pipeline with the probability and what's real in your accounting system or in Spectrum, and putting those two pieces of information together and putting on a forecast is very valuable information. And you have the start dates in CRM and the end dates in CRM. You have the start dates and the end dates in your ERP or your project management or your accounting system, and you can forecast the revenue that way. Now, it's not perfect, but because some revenue will come up front, you may bill them, not evenly across the months. We know that, but this is a really good idea of what your revenues projection or your labor, if you put labor on here, your labor requirements will be. And again, huge time savings on this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch gears real quick, and we're going to go over to a demo. I'm going to walk you through all this stuff, and that would be a really good time to ask questions if you have any. Anybody have any questions?
There are no questions right now.
Okay. All right. I've got things organized the way I want it, I think. I want to show you some real stuff here. Real stuff meaning real customer examples of things that we're doing. And there we go. Okay, so real quickly, if I log in to, let me start from the very beginning. First of all, let me start with the capturing the leads electronically. So on your website, everybody's familiar with the contact us form or submit an RFQ on your website form. We showed that to you in the screenshot during the presentation, and everybody has one. But if you have those connected to CRM, what will happen is you can go in here and you can set it up so that if a lead comes in from those contact forms, you can decide how do you want to handle those. Who do you want those leads to go to? What kind of follow-up plan do you want? Who gets the alerts? It's very powerful to be able to connect the CRM to your website, and even a mobile RFQ data capture form, so that not only are you getting the data captured automatically, but you're getting them on all the reports. People are getting the alerts. A follow-up plan is put in place, and all those kind of things. And this is an example of how you can set up those rules on the screen. Now, right here, I'm going to shrink this down a little bit, I think, so you can see it a little better. If you can imagine this on your mobile device or even on your website, you can go in here and have your folks capture leads electronically on a handheld device, on a tablet, on a laptop. And again, from your website, you can upload drawings and photos directly from your mobile device or your laptop or even your desktop and capture the lead automatically. And then once it's in there, you'll get an alert, and it'll have a link to go right into CRM, okay? And in CRM, you'll be able to find out all the details on that opportunity. So that link will take you to the job details, the customer name. There'll be documents attached to that. with photos, maybe the original request for quote, specs, all that information, and it'll have a bid due date attached to it as well, so that you know when the bid is due. Okay, so in addition to that, you'll have a dashboard that will show you new opportunities. I'm going to try not to click around so much here so it shows a little better, but you have new opportunities. You have, if you're a project manager, you can see all the opportunities or salesperson on your dashboard. If you're an estimator, you can see all the bids that are assigned to you. You have calendar alerts, you have tasks and next steps, and then you also have a bid calendar. And the bid calendar will show you, let me give you a couple more bids to see here. What bids are due, when are they due, who's working on them, and what's the name of the job. And then you can click on them and go down into those jobs and see more details right off of your bid calendar. Okay, and there you go. So you have that. All right, so one of the other things that you'll be able to do, besides the bid calendar, besides the reminders and the alerts, besides your dashboard, is you'll have plenty of reports to run to see what is the status of all your opportunities and your bids. And you could widen the window if you want to. This one's doing it by month, but what you'll be able to do here is say, okay, I have a certain number of outstanding bids over the next month. Here's the customer, here's the estimator, the project manager, the estimated start dates and the end date, and you can even track things like how much labor is required to complete that job. Now, you'll also be able to see what bids have been submitted, what bids have been awarded, and what bids have been lost over that time period as well on a status report, which the management team can run every week, or you can run as yourself to see what bids am I supposed to be working on, which ones are outstanding, and that type of activity. Now, in addition to all of that, you can go in and manage your opportunities. Okay, lots of ways basically to monitor this stuff and see where are all the bids that I've submitted. Okay, and filter that out and see what is the history. Okay, I left them a voicemail last week. What is the next step? All right, I got to call them at the end of the week. And then you can take notes or add history or add next steps right from here. So you may be calling everybody right now that I've submitted a bid to, as an example, and just take notes or add next steps or add history right from here. And now you're done. You're up to date. You followed up on all the bids that are submitted, and you're off and running working on the next bid. Okay. So once you have a bid, you're able to take those and organize those into a job. So let's say you're a specialty contractor, an electrical contractor, and you're bidding out a job, but you're bidding out those jobs to multiple general contractors. So you've got, in this scenario, you've got 4 bids for the same job. Well, how do I manage all that and track all that? And when I win one, close out the others? Well, you put them in a bid tracking tool where it's managing all those bids to that one job. And then again, when you close one out or win one, the other ones are closed out with it. And then if you go down into one of these opportunities, you have all the details that came from your website, from the mobile request for quote form, from the customer portal. It may have even come in through an email or an interface, but you have the data. You have all the contacts on the job. Obviously, you have the customer. You have all the bids and proposals. You have the next steps. You have the history. You have the notes. You have the documents. And the documents, again, are specifications, request for quote, things like that. And then you have also the job history for that customer. Okay, so from here, I can create a proposal. And what I can do is I can say, well, look, I have an existing proposal in place. I'm going to copy that proposal and generate a new one, an exact copy of that proposal with all the documents, all the information, everything copied over. But in this case, for the demo, I'm going to drill down into one of those proposals, and you can see that, you know, I've got 6 documents that I put together to create this proposal. I have a worksheet. I have some PDF attachments, my safety records I'm including with this proposal. And by copying this proposal, I'm creating an exact copy of this, and I don't have to recreate it from scratch. All the 6 documents are copied over, the worksheet, the PDF, and all the fill-in-the-blank items like the customer name, job details, job location, everything gets copied over with it. Now, using the standard proposal generator allows you to take these standardized documents and add them to your proposal. Okay, this one is a cover letter. Okay. Right there. And I can view it with the sample data in it if I want to. And then I have the actual proposal itself. And I won't go through all of these, but I'll show you a couple examples where you have a breakdown of costs. This is the specification, okay, on the proposal. And I can even add Excel, since 71% use Excel, I think I have this on the actual proposal itself here, where it's adding Excel data directly to the proposal. And there you go. This came directly from an Excel worksheet. So a price breakdown or a breakdown of your quote right into the proposal from this worksheet. Okay? Then I can generate the proposal, and it'll create a beautiful PDF for you that gets sent to the customer. Okay? And you can see how good that looks. All the documents are combined together. And again, it's fill in the blank. And you can copy these and recreate these for the next job that's similar or for the same customer. Again, it was all fill in the blank from the database or Excel. And then I can email this out directly from the system, and it attaches the proposal with it. Now, what will happen here is you'll select, I want an email alert when they've opened it, or I want a text alert when they open it, and I automatically want to set the status to bid submitted. So now I track the follow-up tasks for that. Okay. Again, best practices. Let's make sure we know what's going on. We're aware of all our bidding opportunities. We're following up on them. We know what the next steps are. Everybody's aware of what needs to happen. Okay. So again, after we've generated the proposal and after we've accepted it or lost it, we can go back and look at a performance report and say, okay, let me look at the performance by estimator and see how they're doing. Not just the number of bids they've received over the first quarter of the year, but the dollar amounts, and look at the won-lost ratio by estimator. So you have 4 estimators here. And then you might want to look at it by customer, okay? And then you could also look at it by job type. You may be doing better at bidding out certain types of job versus the other, and it'll show up on these reports, okay? Additionally, you go into I showed this on the presentation a little bit, but a won-lost report, okay? So you can go in and run a won-lost report in a lot of different ways. This one might be by division or location, but you can see, the last 30 days, I can see the jobs that I've won, the jobs that I've lost, and why, okay? And then you can run this by estimator project manager, job type, even industry. Okay, some of our builders do work in multiple industries, healthcare, retail, whatever, and they want to look at these performance reports by that parameters as well, which will really help figure out what is working and what is not. And you can see right here, if you can see the drop down, you can run this by industry. Excuse me. Okay, and then the last report, just to kind of wrap it up, is that gap analysis report that I was referring to in the demo. And this shows the gaps in your revenues. In the example that I showed during the presentation, Home Depot is giving you a lot of new construction, but not any service work. That's a gap. I would be investigating that and find out why. You know, it's a simple phone call maybe. And again, Costco, they were giving you opportunities in January, but nothing in February, March, or April. Why not? Go find out. Now, this is by job type. Now, a lot of our customers are in a wide geographical range, and I showed this to you on the presentation as well. But what we're looking at here is, and this is a real case with the names changed, but what some of our customers had found out by running these reports is they were getting a lot of work for different locations from this customer, but a particular location was not giving them any service work. That's an opportunity. Okay, so go get it. You know, go fill that, go plug that gap, and all of a sudden you have more opportunities without really doing any marketing, without really putting in a lot of effort. All right, so that is that part of it. Now there's one more report I want to show you, and that is this revenue projection. We do revenue projections and labor projections, and you can do these in multiple ways with multiple time frames, but this is just one example of a revenue projection for the next 6 months. And I'm doing 6 months instead of 12 months to fit it on one screen. But you saw how quick that was. This is a live report from the data in the database. And what we're seeing here is all the jobs that are not only in the pipeline, okay, sales opportunities or bid opportunities, but real jobs, okay? Real jobs meaning they're in ERP and they're in the accounting system or project management system. And you put those two together and you can say, I have a realistic forecast, not a perfect forecast, but a realistic forecast of my revenue. And so you spread the revenue out by month with the start date and end date across the duration. And then there you go. And again, we can do this for labor requirements. And even we do something called a job board where we can put what we call resources. Resources are labor, equipment, and material, and even company, like a company car or a company truck or something, on a job board and say this is where they show up on a job and when they drop off. And you wouldn't expect that from CRM, but since we are focused on construction and we want to help construction, we don't limit ourselves to just CRM. Okay, so that is the demo and that is the presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find that this could be valuable for your business. It certainly is for many of our customers. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to Brett for questions.
Yeah, so David, first question is, if I wanted to get started, what is involved and how long does it take? And I just want to remind everybody, if you have a question, go into the question box and type it in.
Okay, so Brett, we have fine-tuned the setup process for, especially well, for everybody, but especially when it comes to Spectrum customers. And we just think of best practices for setting up commercial contractors on CRM. We have our own little set of next steps and project plan for setting up a customer. And when a customer comes in, we'll set them up, we'll set up their account, we'll brand their emails, we'll brand their follow-up emails. We connect them to Spectrum. We customize their account so that all their job types are in there, statuses are in there. We do all that work for you. And generally speaking, depending on how hard it is to connect to Spectrum, in some cases, it's 2 to 3 weeks. But that's really up to you and how fast you want to go. We set up folks in a week, but you'll be available immediately to start using the software. And you don't have to have Spectrum set up first. A lot of our customers start with CRM, and then they implement Spectrum later and integrate it to Spectrum later. That happens probably more than 50% of the time.
All right, so David, that's it on the questions. I think that was a pretty great presentation on both best practices and an overview of Top Builder, which you have kind of scratched the surface. There's so much more in there as far as the email marketing capability and the follow-up plans and just the overall managing of opportunities and increasing the sales and revenue opportunities. So that was great. For everybody that attended, thank you so much. We will be sending out a link to the recording so you can view the recording. If you have any questions, you also get our contact information. If there's more capabilities within Top Builder that you'd like to see, we can set up another demonstration for you and or your organization and walk you through that. We're happy to do that. So thank you everybody very much for joining us, and have a great weekend. Thank you, David.
Thank you, guys.